I met Hitler not in his headquarters, the Brown House in Munich, but in a private home, the dwelling of a former admiral of the German Navy. We discussed the fate of Germany over the teacups. Why do you call yourself a National Socialist, since your party program is the very antithesis of that commonly accredited to socialism?
Socialism is the science of dealing with the common weal. Communism is not socialism. Marxism is not socialism. The Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning. I shall take socialism away from the socialists. Socialism is an ancient Aryan Germanic institution. Our German ancestors held certain lands in common. They cultivated their idea of the common weal. Marxism has no right to disguise itself as socialism. Socialism, unlike Marxism, does not repudiate private property. Unlike Marxism, it involves no negation of personality, and unlike Marxism, it is patriotic. We might have called ourselves the Liberal Party. We chose to call ourselves the National Socialists. We are not internationalists. Our socialism is national. We demand the fulfillment of the just claims of the productive classes by the state on the basis of race solidarity. To us, state and race are one.
What are the fundamental planks of your platform?
We believe in a healthy mind, in a healthy body. The body politic must be sound if the soul is to be healthy. Moral and physical health are synonymous.
Mussolini said the same to me.
The slums are responsible for 9/10, alcohol for 1/10 of all human depravity. No healthy man is a Marxian. Healthy men recognize their value of personality. We contend against our forces of disaster and degeneration. Bavaria is comparatively healthy because it is not completely industrialized. However, all Germany, including Bavaria, is condemned to intensive industrialism by the smallness of our territory. If we wish to save Deutschland, we must see to it that our farmers remain faithful to the land. To do so, they must have room to breathe and room to work.
Where will you find the room to work?
We must retain our colonies, and we must expand eastward. There was a time when we could have shared world dominion with England. Now, we can stretch our cramped limbs only toward the east. The Baltic is necessarily a German lake.
Is it not possible for Germany to reconquer the world economically without extending her territory?
Economic imperialism, like military imperialism, depends upon power. There can be no world trade on a large scale without world power. Our people have not learned to think in terms of world power and world trade. However, Germany cannot extend commercially or territorially until she regains what she has lost and until she finds herself. We are in the position of a man whose house has been burned down. He must have a roof over his head before he can indulge in more ambitious plans. We had succeeded in creating an emergency shelter that keeps out their rain. We were not prepared for hailstones. However, misfortunes hail down upon us. Deutschland has been living in a veritable blizzard of national, moral, and economic catastrophes. 2 years of democracy have lost us Silesia, der Rhine, and der Ruhr. Our demoralized party system is a symptom of our disease. What can their present government do? Nothing. It has no permanent support anywhere. Parliamentary majorities fluctuate with their mood of the moment. The parliamentary government is the spawn of hell. It opens the gate to Bolshevism.
Unlike some German militarists, you do not favor an alliance with Soviet Russia. Adolf Hitler drained his cup as if it contained not tea, but the lifeblood of Bolshevism.
Bolshevism is our greatest menace. Kill Bolshevism in Germany and you restore 70 million people to power. France owes her strength not to her armies, but to their forces of Bolshevism and dissension in our midst. Their Treaty of Versailles and their Treaty of Saint-Germain are kept alive by Bolshevism in Germany. Their peace treaty and Bolshevism are two heads of one monster. We must decapitate both. Their political combinations upon which a united front depends are too unstable. They render almost impossible a clearly defined policy. I see everywhere their zigzag course of compromise and concession. Our constructive forces are checked by their tyranny of numbers. We make their mistake of applying arithmetic on their mechanics of their economic vault to their living state. We are threatened by ever-increasing numbers and ever-diminishing ideals. Mere numbers are unimportant.
But suppose France retaliates against you by once more invading your soil. She invaded the Ruhr once before. She may invade it again.
It does not matter how many square miles the enemy may occupy if the national spirit is aroused. 10 million free Germans ready to perish so that their country may live are more potent than 50 million whose willpower is paralyzed and whose race consciousness is infected by aliens. They want a greater Deutschland, uniting all German tribes. But our salvation can start in the smallest corner. Even if we had only 10 acres of land and were determined to defend them with our lives, that 10 acres would become their focus of regeneration. Our workers have two souls. One is German, the other is Marxian. We must arouse the German soul. We must uproot the canker of Marxism. Marxism and Germanism, like German and Jew, are antipodes. The Jew is destructive by nature. Unable to lead a national existence of his own, his presence in the modern state provides the ferment of decomposition.
What would you do with the Jew?
We would disfranchise him, even if he is born in Deutschland. Birth in itself is no sufficient qualification for citizenship. Citizenship depends upon a clear recognition of the duties implied in its rights. The Jews are not German. They are an alien people in our midst, and they manifest themselves as such. The fact that a man is decent is no reason why we should not eliminate him. Our hand grenades in the war made no discrimination between decent Englishmen and others. Decent Jews will realize that it is necessary for us to protect the integrity of our race. I look upon the Jews as you look upon the Japanese. Both are an alien race. Both are an ancient people. Both have an ancient culture. Nevertheless, you do not admit the Japanese to citizenship. Yet, the Japanese, unlike the Jews, are not a destructive force. They have ruined no state. They are not carriers of Bolshevism. They constitute no problem. Mixed breeds lack vitality. We would forbid mixed marriages hereafter. If they were patriots, we would accept them, although we would not encourage intermarriage with them. The issue that confronts us is one between Jew and Aryan. Mixed breed dies, it is a valueless product. Rome fell when it ceased to keep its race pure. In literature, in the movies, in science, the influence of the Jew is destructive. We are like a consumptive who does not realize that he is doomed unless he expels the microbes from his lungs. Hence, I say, we need violent correctives, strong medicine, maybe amputation. Now, more than ever, we must differentiate between elements that make for weakness and elements that make for strength. Incidentally, no deed of violence against Jews is on record in Bavaria. Not even their windows of a single Jew were smashed by my followers. No one, not even the Jews, can deny our honesty of purpose. We wish to purge ourselves from the Jews, not because they are Jews, but because they are a disturbing influence. We wish to reserve citizenship and a voice in the council of our nation, only to those who are of pure German blood. Our slogan is Germany for the Germans. Foreigners, whether Jews or not, will be permitted to live in Germany only by sufferance. In my scheme of the German state, there will be no room for the alien, no use for the wastrel, for the usurer or speculator, or anyone incapable of productive work.
Your next meeting is starting soon.